with divorced parents.
And this episode, we're going to
interviewing my girlfriend, Janet Hershey.
Yes.
So we're just going to be talking about past, or kind of Janet's past family experiences with just divorce and everything. And we're just going to be talking about that topic for a little bit. So do you want to just introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Janet. I'm an entertainment tech student, so not film, but live theater fun stuff. I don't know. That's pretty much it. Kind of fit in with you guys.
Most definitely. So I lied. Janet's not my girlfriend. Janet is Caleb's girlfriend. It saddens us all, but
Yes. Do you want to plug anything, or like Instagram shows?
No, I don't want to plug stuff. I don't know. I like keeping my life low key and in the private area.
You want to tell us what you're currently working on as far as...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. I am the production carpenter or master carpenter for a show that we're doing called Her Sister. And it's about like Anne Frank's sister, and it's going to be like a world premiere script. So this is the first time that the author is like actually showing this stuff live, and that's fun. And then my friends and I are also throwing a rave. It's going to be so much fun. We're doing that in April, and it's going to be so weird. It's going to be like an experience overall, because we're going to do like visual effects that are going to be like The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. Wow, like DJ music is going on and like all of this other like sensual stuff. So it's going to be wild. That's in April.
That's so exciting. Like,
that's
super
my
cool.
plug. It's called Telltale Rave.
Is a creative, wonderful human being, and I'm so happy that we have her as a guest.
I am so happy as well.
Happy to be here.
How long have you been doing theater for, or like been interested in?
I've been doing it since middle school, but I think what got me into it was my mom and I would like make costumes and like dress up in things. And so I really liked like that aspect. And then middle school, I did acting. And the first 2 years of high school, I did musical theater because I liked singing. But then I realized I hate being on stage because it's scary. Not that type of person. And I like to make the fun effects happen. So then I switched to like stage crew, and I had so much fun there.
That's so cool. Mm-hmm. I guess we can just jump right into the juicy stuff, I guess. Or I guess, what is your experience with divorce?
Well, it's not really divorce, but like, I don't know. My siblings are sort of divorced from my parent, if that's a real thing. We'll see. I don't know. There's been like a lot of issues in life I have like 4 siblings. So they're all girls, 1 guy. The oldest is 20 years apart from me. And the youngest, like me and my brother, is 9 years. So it's like huge generation gap because they're all like weird millennials that have children and lives. And then I'm here in college, like making my life. Yeah, there's just been like a whole bunch of shit in my life where it was like, oh, this sibling isn't talking to my parents. Oh, this sibling isn't talking to my parents. Oh, look, there goes another one. Here, they're back. It's just been that. And it's like hard, I guess, because as a kid, I was like, oh shit, it's like my fault that they're leaving for some reason. You know how it is. And then I like put that on myself. Yeah, really. I like remember like sitting in my room. I was like on the phone because I wanted to see one of my siblings, and we would like plan times to meet up. And it would be really like hard because they didn't want my parents to know anything about their lives. And then they would tell me information about their lives, and I had to like hide that. And they still do that, which sucks. But now I just pretend to be dumb. It's all good. But yeah. Trauma.
That's definitely interesting because we talk about divorce, and for the friends that we have spoken to about divorce, I'm sorry, there's like a squishmallow avalanche happening behind me, so I'm desperately trying to keep it together. I think that sometimes when we think about divorce, and sometimes we think about that kind of generational trauma, it's strictly a parent-child relationship, when in actuality, like families can be divorced from each other in a sense. And we haven't really had this perspective yet, and I think that's actually really fascinating. Do you still like have a relationship with them outside of that, question
mark? Honestly, I never really got to see the oldest two siblings the most because they were out of the, like, my oldest was in college when I was born, so she wasn't living in the house, and she like was always on like good terms, bad terms with my parents, and she always lived far away, so it was really hard to see her. But we have like some moments that we hung out and it's cool. And the second oldest, it's like the same. It's like we didn't have this like bond, but they think we had this bond from when I was really little, because they're like, oh yeah, like I changed your diapers, and I'm like, I don't remember any of that because I'm older now. It's like weird, you know?
I was just going to ask, like, do you feel, kind of going off the bond thing, like as you gotten older and progressed, do you think the bond has like gotten closer with any of your siblings, since like you kind of have like understand things more, like that gap, even though it's still there, it feels like it's like closer?
A mixture of like closer and farther, honestly, because like I see both sides of my parent and my sibling stories, and I'm kind of still in the middle ground with it all. But it's like they have their good traits and their bad traits, and it's like, oh, I like see this good side of you, and like when we hang out it's cool, but then there's also like underlying toxic things sometimes, and it's like, oh wow, are we just hanging out because you're trying to manipulate me, or how's that going? So it's like a mixture of both.
Totally. I think oftentimes when, I mean, me and my sister are rather close, so I haven't really experienced this, but with my friends who have larger age gaps between their siblings and them, it feels sometimes that the sibling either feels a need to parent or feels such a disconnect from them because of that age gap, or that maybe sometimes they're entitled to the emotions that the younger sibling feels, which I think is actually really kind of interesting and something so out of like my wheelhouse that I'm not like super like aware of it, but that's kind of like experiences that I've heard. Do you feel as though your relationship falls like under one of those three kind of things?
Oh yeah, because like, well, okay, the way that they like talk to each other versus talking to me is like totally different, because they talk to each other like they're adults, but then they're like, oh, Janet, she's so young, she's literally a baby, she hasn't experienced anything in life, like she hasn't done anything, you know? It's like I'm always the kid and I don't have a real opinion in life because I haven't lived to age 25 when I become an adult, because that's when they had their epiphanies. Yeah.
Because at 25 everything makes sense.
Oh, totally.
Quote unquote, that's when your brain fully develops and you can you know
I'm gonna hop on a soapbox for a minute. I hate that phrase. I think it's so stupid. I think it makes me so angry. I'm like, I have lived a full life regardless of how old I am. There's plenty of stuff I know about, and I don't have to be 25 to get it. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it being weaponized. Okay, thank you.
To me, it's like, I don't know. I was like put through like traumatic events that like made my brain develop a lot faster than theirs. Yeah. And they don't like understand that because I'm not really open with them to talk about this stuff yet. So it's like, I don't really want to be like, hey, you're the reason why I was in therapy for a while. Yes. You know,
just for shits and gigs, in fact.
Yeah. There's that point.
That's crazy. I guess kind of going off of the like parent, like kind of that like age gap difference too, with feeling like they're more adult than you. When you were like kind of growing up and stuff, would they kind of like help you get through traumatic events? Like would a particular sibling help you more through a traumatic event when you were younger, like kind of shield you from bad stuff that's happening, or kind of like try and help and protect you? Or was it still like it's their own group of things and it's not really worrying about you, or at least when you were like younger?
I would say it was more of when they were living in the house still. So like two of my siblings really lived in the house when I was there. One was here for college for a little bit. She like stayed at the house and commuted. And like she and my brother would take me out of the house when like bad things were happening, which was nice. And we'd go out and do like fun things to distract ourselves. But I mean, like, I didn't really see that nowadays as much because we don't really talk on that level and things. But like, we don't really talk about our traumatic events because it's like a huge, big sore that they're just trying to put a Band-Aid over, you know? And it's like anytime we do try to bring up the past, it's like angry feelings that come up for them. And so it's just something that I try to avoid. But in the past, yeah, it was like cool.
That's good, at least that they kind of helped you when you were younger, if that helps at all. Like I feel like that's not really much to go off of.
I think that's
it's always been like a give and take. Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's always like a give and take. It's like, oh my god, they were so great here, but then it's like, oh, but they caused this. Oh, but that's what it's been.
Has the split with them affected your relationship with your parents?
Oh, definitely, yeah. But it's like so different too, because like my parents were raising them in like the 80s and 90s, and like the world back then was totally different than like the world now, which is like awful to say, I guess, because you just want to assume that everything's like happy and stuff, but it's not. And it's like their parenting methods changed. Like they were a lot more violent, kind of verbally and physically back then, versus now. I didn't really experience all of that. So we kind of grew up just differently, I guess you could say. And that kind of like split us overall, because my siblings still see like my old parents, whereas I see like my parents now that are kind of like nicer, more chilled out old people, and they don't like get to see that side because they're still stuck in the past mentally. And my parents are still stuck in the past too, honestly, they really are. But
maybe it's a jealousy thing too.
Yeah, probably. I think my siblings were definitely jealous of like the stuff that I got growing up, which I get because I was like a spoiled younger sibling. I can like 100% say that. And at that point, I was kind of like an only child with income. Like my parents helped my siblings get through college and stuff. And they had finally had like their own money again versus having split up over all the kids. So I got to have more experiences and things than they did.
I just want to preface quickly, like if you see me like mute my microphone, it's because I don't know if you can hear the dryer, but like I'm really close to the dryer. I don't want that to be obnoxious. But the question I was going to ask is, does like your younger siblings, since they kind of were born at different ages, do they have a better relationships comparatively to your older siblings? I mean, that may not be, that may just be like a little bit better, it may be like a little bit worse, or like I guess how does like it kind of change throughout that siblingry, like between that?
I would say that it's a little bit better, but not really, because also like my younger siblings also don't talk to my parents, and so it's like, yeah, they had a great bond coming up through childhood, or it seemed like it from my parents' standpoint. But I think it was the little things that like added up in my siblings' lives that got to this one explosive point of like, I just can't take being around them anymore and I'm going to cut myself off. And then like that happened. So if you talk to my parents, they're like, oh my gosh, I have so many great experiences of them when they were younger and they were like so nicer, and then they just ditched me. But then if you talk to the siblings, it's like, oh, all this added up and I don't want to give them another chance. So it's like that.
And again, if any of this feels too heavy, you don't have to talk about anything. You can let us know.
Oh, it's okay. I went to a lot of therapy, a lot. And then I was like, oh, it's not my fault. It's okay. Like, this isn't my shit. It's not mine. So I feel great. Therapy is a good thing.
Definitely.
How much has therapy helped you since like starting? Because like you kind of said here and there, like helped you with like this and that, I guess, like kind of overall, and if you want to get into it as well too.
Well, do you want me to talk about like the whole like when Janet started therapy and her gap thing? Do you want like the whole thing or the most recent helpful stuff?
It can be the entire thing. It can be the most recent thing, whatever like you feel comfortable in sharing too.
And share with us what kind of therapy you experience, so we can kind of gauge that as well.
Okay, so I'll do like the beginning, which was horse therapy, the fun one. Okay, so
I knew it. I was gonna ask you. I was like, I bet she did horse therapy. I bet this bitch did horse therapy.
Yes. So, senior year of high school, my one sister was getting married, and I couldn't tell my parents. And somehow I had to figure out how to go down to DC to go to this wedding without saying what I'm doing, where I am. And I was 17, so I was still a minor. There was this secret garden party that I got an invite to in the mail, and it was a whole ordeal. And there was so much stress back and forth that I was like really low, and I kind of like shut off my emotions, and I was like, ooh, kind of don't want to live here, because why would I want to live in this world when there's so much drama? So I was like real down. And I like finally opened up to my mom about it. And she's like, we should take you to therapy. And I was like, sure, I'll try therapy. And I don't know how it got to horse therapy, but we got there. And I grew up with horses all of my life. And they were like a therapy to myself anyways, because I have a lot of anxiety, and like riding horses really helps you learn how to control your emotions and be able to like hide them more, because otherwise the horse will freak out if you're freaking out, because they can sense things. So we went to this horse therapist, and we get there, and it's this really beautiful farm and like huge indoor. So I was like, ooh, this is cool. And then this lady shows up, and she's like, yeah, these aren't my horses, just so you know. I was like, okay. And she's like, yeah, the farm just lets me like use the horses that are here, but they're really great. And then she went through and like described like each one and stuff, and was like, oh, which one do you want to like work with? And I was like, I'm going to pick the big one, because I've just dealt with like smaller horses and ponies in my life. And I'm like, I want to ride the big one. And the funny thing was like, we went to this indoor. No, we didn't even do the indoor first. We were grooming. And I'm like, I know how to groom a horse. Like, that's easy. And she didn't like ask me anything about my life then, which I thought usually like you would, because when you're like petting animals and stuff, like that's when you feel a little more relaxed and like want to talk. But we didn't talk there. And instead she went through and kind of showed me some like pressure points on the horse, which was really interesting, like because you could actually tell, but sometimes it was hard to tell, if that makes sense. So like one example was, you like took your two fingers and you like started at the pole, like in between their ears, and you like just barely like touched them, and you just like felt that like all the way down, and then to their like tailbone where their butt is. And you were supposed to feel like where certain areas of tension was. So like if you felt like an area that felt more tense, then you would just like stop there and hold it, and that was supposed to like release it, and then you would go on. But I don't know if I'm not like in contact with like the metaphysical stuff or whatever, but I didn't feel shit. I was like, this is a really cool theory, but it's not really working on me. So I was like standing there, like doing this thing. And I was like, oh, I could see the horse twitched when I did that. I guess I'll keep my finger there. Like I went off of physical signs and stuff, but I didn't feel like I really understood it then. And she just like kept making me do that until I would say that I felt something. And I was like, okay, we're just standing here, like touching this horse so awkwardly. And then like she eventually gave up on me, and we went to the indoor. And the next thing was like to try and get this horse to move. Okay. And usually like I would be holding a lead line, I would stand next to the horse, and I would start walking and push lead line forward, and the horse starts walking. But we weren't doing this the normal way, of course. She said, you can't have like the lead rope on. I think we even took the halter off. And she was like, you have to get this horse to move, and you can't touch it, you can't make any noises, you just have to like bond with it and make it move. I was like, oh Lord. She's like, you really need to like think of your feelings and like make it move. And I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. But I just like stood there and I stared at this horse, and I really tried to like think, but this horse was like not happening, like not having it and stuff. And then eventually she like gave up on that too. But she was like, what do you feel inside? Like, are you getting frustrated while trying to make this horse move? And I'm like, fuck, yeah, of course I'm getting frustrated. It's like standing there and it's been like 10 minutes of silence. Like, yeah. And then she was like,
that would be
what
me
color?
trying to get the horse to move.
Yeah, really. It's like, exactly. And then she's like, what color do you feel inside? And I was like, a color like inside? I don't know. Like my heart's red, so I guess I'm red. I was like, it was so confusing. And I did that maybe like 2 or 3 times before I was like, yeah, this is not happening. Like it's making me worse because I'm like, oh, I should be feeling something, but I'm not. And I'm really frustrated that I'm not feeling that. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like there's something wrong with me at that point, that I can't connect with this horse physically. It's like weird because I do have a bond with my own horse, like a really strong one, that I can like just like sense things with her. But I think that's because I've had her since I was like in middle school, and we've connected that bond, versus just like standing there and hoping this horse connects with you. That's random, you know?
I feel like that would be like a good concept if she would like actually like talk with you and like actually have like a therapy session like while she's like showing you like these different pressure points and stuff, and like talk through your traumas and talk, because I feel like that would be kind of cool and a cool idea, because it would be like therapy pet or like a emotional support animal like a dog or like any animal like that, where you just like pet and talk. It eases you into talking, where you don't have to like go in right away. But that's like when you first brought that up to me like a little while ago, I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. And you're like, while you're explaining it, I'm like, this is the most like dumb thing ever. Why are you just like petting a horse for like an hour without like talking, you know? But that's really weird.
Well, and it's interesting. I really want to see like someone that can actually like connect on that level, because I just don't think I'm the person to, but I would love to see someone that can like get in there and just like connect with a horse silently. I think that'd be amazing.
I don't know if anybody here watches Queer Eye, that's on Netflix, but they had somebody do equine therapy in the new season. And it's similar to what you're explaining, but I feel as though the therapist, like, I don't know, not that one is better than the other, but the therapist was more verbal, I guess. And I think that might have bettered her experience at least. But I also feel like in a lot of therapies, there's this pressure to feel something when you don't necessarily have to. And I mean, I've experienced that. I've done a few different types of therapies, and in almost all of them, I've always felt like I should be feeling something here, but I'm not. And some therapists are being like, that's okay. And some therapists are not. And one isn't better than the other. And I'm sure it's frustrating for a lot of therapists when they're like, I need you to like explain this. But like sometimes, especially when you're a child, you don't have those words.
Yeah, definitely. And like I helped volunteer before at like a veterans therapy that had like equine assisted stuff there that was meant for people that had PTSD and stuff like that. And that was more of the like pet the horse, create a bond through riding. And if certain feelings come up during that, you talk about it, not like kind of forcing it out, but like focusing on actually like working with this horse and riding. And then like feelings eventually come out and you just talk about it and talk it through. That was a cool place.
How long did you do that for?
I just volunteered like a couple of days for like cleanup days. I forget exactly what happened, but we were just like cleaning stalls and mucking things for them, moving things around. But they just like explained the process to us, which was really cool.
What other?
And I've also I also saw like therapy assisted like physical therapy stuff with horses. That's pretty neat too, to watch that. So therapy with horses is a good thing. It's just some of them are a little whack for some people like me.
What other kind of like therapy did you have? And I think it, like a little side note, I think it's like really important for people to try like different therapies too, because I feel like not every form of therapy helps every single person. Like not one like therapy helps every single person. It's I feel like you kind of have to go through different like levels of therapy or different types of therapy to not levels, types of therapy is like more of what I wanted to say, of to kind of help you communicate and like your problems or help you emotionally, whether that's horse therapy, whether that's like talking to a therapist, and like a bunch of other therapy too. I just feel like that's cool how our society is kind of changing to the form of like having therapy more acceptable and having like different forms of therapy come out each year that fit more people and help them like kind of through their problems.
Yeah. I did dance therapy, art therapy, talk therapy, and brain spotting, just to kind of like see like what worked for me. And talk therapy never worked for me. It just felt like I would repeat the same things and I wasn't getting anything out of it because I didn't really see like a conclusion. I just saw what the issues were. But I think, especially as a person who exists the way I am, I'm very tactile. I need to be doing things in order to feel anything. Doing like a psychophysical thing was really helpful. So like being able to move in a way that felt a certain way was like really fascinating. So that's why I really liked dance therapy. I loved art therapy because when I started therapy, I was in maybe like 8th grade-ish. And I just didn't want to talk about anything that happened. I just wanted to like make something to outlet the feelings, but I didn't want to have to time myself to it. And then brain spotting is what I've been doing most recently, and that's been what's helping. Can I give a little intro to brain spotting? Can I tell you guys what it is?
Oh, yes.
Go for it.
So a therapist is able to use your eye lines in order to see where there's childhood trauma and break down the barriers that are like kind of closed off. Because basically what happens is, if a lot of the issues that you're experiencing happened at a time in your childhood, your brain blocks them off because it doesn't have the mental capacity to deal with it. So that's why like I, at least in my own experience, have blocked out certain memories from childhood because my brain wasn't well equipped in order for me to heal from it. But with this, it's using the physical in order to figure out where those blockages are and break them. And I think I got really into it. I was doing therapy consistently for like a year, and then I felt as though I was doing pretty good. But like I just told you guys, I just called my therapist and I wanted to do it again because I think there's still stuff that I haven't unlocked. And I'm in a better mental space now because I've come to terms with the other stuff that I had figured out. So that's my experience.
Which is
is that is that like the light therapy too?
Yep.
Where like you have to follow it back and forth? Yeah. Oh my god, I just did a show like last year and we had to like recreate that, and it was actually like really interesting because we learned a little bit more about it. And it's about this girl who like sees you're at the therapist office, you do the whole light flash, and then it goes back into her past. So there's plays about that stuff, which is cool.
Very cool. It's like a stick with a light on the end, and she goes across the screen. So I've done it all over Zoom. I've never done it in person, but she'll go here and she'll be like, I see that there's something here. Is it stronger here? Is it stronger up there? It was really cool.
And that works over Zoom, like through the technology stuff?
Honestly, yeah. And sometimes like I don't even talk. I just sit there and cry, and it just feels so much better because like I was like, I know that sounded really sad, but it's kind of funny. Sometimes it's better to just like feel those feelings, but you don't have to know why. You just have to feel them and get them out, because I may not know why I'm sad when the light is here, but I know that there's something there, and I know that I can release that kind of tension. I think it's really cool. I'm super into Reiki. That's what I like to do. I like to do it for other people and myself. That's all about energy healing and where you carry tension in the body. I find it's been very helpful, at least when I do it on myself. I love to do it on Frank. Frank the cat thinks it's like the best thing in the world. It's super cool. It's It's really awesome.
Which type of therapy helped you the most?
I think, okay, so it depends. Like timing wise, I couldn't have done Brainspotting when I was in 8th grade. It would have been too much for me to emotionally handle. But now I realize that was the most active out of all of them. That's what did the most. But as like a form of like coping at the time, dance and art therapy really did it for me.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's really cool.
I really like learning like different forms of therapy because like growing up and throughout high school and stuff, I thought there was only like one form of therapy, and that's like you just talk to someone and you like sit down and you're kind of forced. I mean, you're not like forced, but like you're kind of like you have to have this conversation and you have to talk about your feelings and stuff. I'm like, that didn't really work for me throughout high school. And just because I think I'm better prepared to have like talking therapy now, because throughout high school and stuff, I didn't really have too many like deep on quote unquote conversations with anyone, friends, family, etc., etc. And throughout college, I feel like I've been having these talks about my emotions, about like other things with many different people, like types of people, and Janet has helped me like especially with this as well, and now I think I can I think I can like actually like communicate like my feelings and like actually have a conversation, which talking therapy is like going to help me the most, whereas throughout high school it didn't really help because like I was in the mindset of like, oh, this therapist is only like here to talk to me, or she's only getting paid to talk to me, like she doesn't really like actually care. And I didn't really know how to have a conversation and communicate my emotions clearly or have a deep conversation, because like I still am very awkward and I'm still like working on this a lot, but like kind of like talking through my emotions, and where now I feel like I have a better understanding of how to do that, where I didn't really in high school. And you brought up a good point where it's like different times, different forms of therapy helped you or helps you.
I think it's also important to note like what your therapist has their background in too. Like I later went to the like talking therapy regular thing, and like she specialized in like family trauma and shit. And boy, oh boy, that really helped. Like to have someone that like really knew about like the whole like hierarchies and the whole like someone's the hero, someone's the victim. There was that whole family tree thing, and you can pinpoint it to the standard. Oh my God, that was like, wow, it's not
you
just
said,
me.
Boy, oh boy. No, that's so valid. Like, wow, like yeah. I think that's, and you know what? It seems so much easier in practice when you like think about going to see a therapist, but like it was the last thing on my mind. I was like, all right, she's gonna tell me what my problems are. What are you doing? And she's like, oh, I deal with like loss. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's not really what I'm about, but I appreciate it. And I think it takes a while to find the right therapist. I think like figuring that out definitely took longer than I would have hoped it did, but the right therapist can really like make it or break it.
I agree.
And if you think about it, like in all of our majors and stuff, yeah, we're learning like the general like thing, like with acting, sure, you're learning how to act like everything, but I'm sure you specialize in like a certain type of character or a certain type of acting. And that's the same with therapists. But like we assume that like, oh, like one therapist can solve all of our problems, but it might not be the one that's specialized to do that and actually like understands more about that topic.
Definitely.
Have you gone to any other therapy, Janet? Or
like no, I just did horse therapy, and then I did the one like freshman year of college that was the talking, and that's the one that hit to home. I mean, like personally, I like to think that I like did stuff on my own. Like when I'm making like crafts and stuff, it helps like distract me and distress. And then horse riding all of my life, that really helped. So I like found other ways on my own.
You kind of like hint on this here and there too, but like kind of have you experienced like a dissociative state where you're feeling like a stronger amount of moment or a strong amount of emotions in a particular moment, and you don't really know how to process it, so you kind of just, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, have you ever experienced this in a dissociative state any point throughout your life?
Yeah, I would probably say it was at my like lowest when I was like thinking about suicide and stuff, because like I thought that if I distanced myself from everybody and everything, then I could like leave and it would be fine, and I might like save my family if I died. Like I had that whole like, oh, maybe it's the solution in my mind, when it like really wasn't in any ways. It probably make things worse.
I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you. I am too now.
Beautiful human. And it's sad because I feel like there's like a fake kind of energy of like, there's plenty of resources for people your age, but there's not always. And it's so taboo that like people like oftentimes are like, what other option do I have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. And then you see, like, for me, I looked at my school guidance counselors as like a baseline for therapy, I guess, I thought, when I was in high school. And I was like, bro, those counselors don't do shit. And if they're not going to do shit, that's not going to help me. So then I was like, oh, therapy is just baloney. But it's not baloney. Not at all. There are people who care that are above school counselors.
I want a shirt that says therapy is not baloney. I think that's a wonderful quote. I might make that and wear that every moment of every day. I think that would be good for me.
You guys definitely need to do like merch that are just quotes. You start writing things down, like making shirts and things.
Kids with the Forced Parents merch. Therapy
ain't seriously.
Yes, therapy ain't baloney.
But like, so many people like connect with this topic because there's so many people that are like divorced in life or have like just traumatic issues that they would buy that merch just because therapy is not baloney.
I agree. I want to say that I'm very, very happy that you're still here as well. And
I mean, I'd hope so.
We're all getting like almost like
but I mean, like, I didn't say that, and I like earlier, but like I just wanted to say that. And yeah, fuck high school guidance counselors as well, because like I tried doing that too, and that like, I mean, I'm sure there's other high school guidance counselors that work for people, and I'm not saying don't go to like high school, like your guidance counselor. Like if you need help, go to any resource that you feel like would help you. But like I just felt like our general high school did like a poor job with just like counseling and just like helping with people's problems. And I feel like I don't want to say like most, but I feel like a lot of schools don't really understand or how to go about like dealing with like like people or kids like trauma, you know.
Can you give me the capability to share my screen really quick?
Oh yeah. Wait, how do
I do have a side story about Penn Manor's counseling. I forgot. It just like unlocked in my memory that we can do after.
You guys ended up going to the same high school, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm the co-host. Wait, let me just show this really quick.
I think you can share. Wait.
I think so too.
Okay. Wait. Oh, wait. Okay, cool.
That's beautiful.
That's so fucking funny. What if we put a piece of bologna like underneath the saying?
Oh, already on it.
No, we need a big X across it, like this is like banned.
Yes. That would be so perfect. My God, this is so good.
I would wear that. I would definitely wear that.
I would also wear that too. That's such a good idea. I love that so much.
Oh my God, you're gonna throw up. This is so funny. This is
Wait, I want to see.
Photoshop queen over here. I think that's like so perfect.
Boy. I don't know if I don't know if I want to include this in the podcast because I feel like someone's going to steal the idea and make millions off of it.
It's your mom. Your mom steals the idea.
No. You're gonna spend today and you're gonna like crank out this merch and then they can't steal it.
That is true. We need to copyright it fast before anyone can steal it.
Yeah, really. Especially all those therapists.
Yeah.
Like, no, you should add like this is funding our therapy.
You want me to add that as text?
Yeah, like a little
yes.
little asterisk like underneath of it, like
each sale funds Caleb and Lacia's therapy sessions.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry, guys.
Funny. And it looks so good on the pink t-shirt as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like the color of bologna. It's like pink.
Oh, that is true. I don't know why, but I just didn't put two and two together.
Yeah, that was my idea the whole time. I totally just didn't like the pink. Oh my god, this is gonna make me pee. This is so funny. Pee everywhere.
Sure. I wanna see. That's so funny.
Who would wear this shirt?
I would wear the shirt.
We can sell it in different colors.
Oh yes. I like the.
I like that one. That one's like good.
Yeah,
this
I
one.
like that one. It looks good. It looks good with pink. Can you see green?
Mm-hmm. Green?
Wait, or the gray one would be funny because then it's like black and white.
Oh yeah.
I want to see it in black.
Oh, that looks good. That honestly looks really good. That looks so good.
Wait. Should we have the funding therapy on the back? Because then you can like turn around and be like.
Just me and Caleb wear them.
That's so funny.
Our own sales.
Every special guest that we have on, we just design a new shirt and release it that week.
Yeah.
This is such a good la
therapy.
Oh, horse therapy. Oh my goodness.
This is so good. I love this so much. Oh no, you deleted it.
Because I had another idea.
What's your idea?
It's so fucked up. I can't put it.
Put it.
No. We'll get in trouble. I'll tell you when we turn the thing
off.
You
can put it in the chat.
Well, yeah, you can put it in chat. You say it and we immediately get removed from YouTube. They delete the entire channel.
But that's what editing's for, right? You're on this show to edit for us, Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb.
That is.
Come on, cutie.
You got the editing. That's how you laugh, Caleb.
Oh, I was about to say that would be like you could go for it, Lacia. Like I bash my own high school all the time.
Yeah.
Shh. This is a secret.
It's okay.
We literally pen minor. That's what people call it. Pen minor. I'll sing you the song too. The song's funny.
Wait.
Let's hear it. Come on, babe.
Yeah.
You want it? Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you gonna sing it with me, Caleb? Do you know it?
The first time I heard that there's a song, you told me like a month ago that we had like a theme song. I never knew that was a thing.
Oh my god.
No, my siblings even knew it, but it's really? Penn Manor is the place to be, right in the middle of farm country. Dun 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 dun, big plows. Dun 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 dun, big cows. Dun 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 dun, popcorn chicken. That's it.
Incredible.
We should make that the new theme song to Kids with Divorced Parents.
I don't know any of the words, but I see it in my full chest.
Okay, you just need the claps. That makes it.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome.
Wait, I wanted to take this a couple different directions, but one was with Penn Manor and like diving more into like I guess the drama beat with Penn Manor, not like drama, but I guess like our experience going to like the same high school, or we could take it to how parents and like the people, your like environment influence you. Because like there was a section before we started talking about like Penn Manor and stuff, like how like therapy is like taboo and stuff, and I feel like the experience that you had in your household dramatically like changes that view. Like if you're in a household that's like open-minded, then therapy is like just a natural state and stuff like that. But if it's like taboo within the household, then you don't seek those options. What I want to leave it to like either or, like you two, where do you want to take this? Like choose your own adventure.
But I also had good experiences at Penn Manor, so I wouldn't like full on bash it.
Yeah, that's why I kind of changed from like bashing, I guess, to our experience or like your experience with high school. Okay, you choose, Licia. Which way do you go?
Yeah, Licia, it's all up to you. No pressure or anything besides the fate of the podcast. It'll be your next t-shirt design.
Our next t-shirt just says Licia heavy breathing. Is there one that excites you more that you want to talk about, or?
I mean, I like to talk in general, so I can literally talk about like crap. I'll talk about Menor for you if you want.
Yeah, let's you know what? Maybe if
not. What are your guys' thoughts on Menor?
Well, there's a good smelling kind and there's bad. So there's two different kinds.
I do. Yes, I yes, I agree.
Let's talk shit about your high school.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. It was mold infested. I'm gonna say that. So like our theater especially was mold infested, and like when everybody was together for tech week, we all thought we were getting sick because we were like together all the time. It was mold, all 4 years mold. So yeah, that's the tea.
Yeah.
Were the counselors there good? Did you enjoy counseling there?
No, I didn't see my counselor. Well, I think I saw her once freshman year, and then she was pregnant my senior year, so I had a substitute counselor, and she was really awful. But I feel bad because it was also, she was like a sub, so she didn't know much about the school, but like I was going through stuff mentally. And I was like sitting there crying because I think I told her that I was having suicidal thoughts or something, but she wasn't really helpful. And then at one point I was like, I'm going to leave Penn Manor and do online school, and I'm going to go travel and be a horse groom. And so I was in her office a lot for that. And she was like, you can't do that. Like, I'm not going to let you do that. And I was like, oh, that's stupid because I want to. And then I ended up not wanting to. But still, I was like, you can't just stop me if this is what I want to do in life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the counselors at our school were not there to like help the student, but to guide you in a certain direction. So, or that's kind of how I felt too. Like they're nice people and stuff, but like with what Janet said, like I just feel like with like you can't do online school and stuff, or like directing you towards a college and stuff, they were more like guidance counselors like that rather than like actual therapists.
Yeah, they really were pissed whenever people wanted to do online schooling, which I was like, what if it's like better for you? And then nowadays they want people to do online schooling since COVID and stuff.
That's kind of how it was with the Catholic school I went to. Like they kind of sucked, but at the public school I ended up like finishing out at, their counselors were really good. We had a mental health club. I was the president. It was kind of like letting the monkey run the circus because I was like, I'm mentally ill. And they were like, all right, put her in charge. She knows what's up. But
that's so great though that you had that.
Yeah, it was definitely like an awesome resource that I would have otherwise not had if I would have continued at Catholic school. I also think there's a lot of stigma surrounding suicide and stuff like that, especially when you go to a religiously affiliated school when stuff like that is considered sinful, if that makes sense. So like this could get dark quick, but it could be funny. I had made an offhand comment that I was like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself to like a friend, and somebody reported me, and I had to sit down with like the religious heads of the school, and they were like, if you do that, that's a sin. Why would you say that? I was like, this is making me feel so much better, bestie. You know what? You're so right. I'm not gonna do it. But like it's crazy how stigmatized it is. in a religious environment like that. I mean, it should be stigmatized to a sense because it is endangerment of people, but like also if we continue to stigmatize it, then nothing's going to get solved and people are just going to continue to do it because they're so scared of the what if. So like that's my experience. I had a really good time. Our club was called a Vedum.
Yeah, and we honestly, had a Vedum too.
It was one of like the best things I did in high school, honestly. Like we would do like outreach projects and it just felt like at least we had some sort of staff on our side that viewed us as people and not just students. I think that's beautiful too.
I agree.
Really cool.
Did you
it
ever
really was like
senior year we had I was gonna say senior year we had a student commit suicide that was in our class, and that was a really awful experience overall. Even for people that like didn't know him, it was like so many mixed emotions, you know, because then it would be like the people that would post and didn't even know him, they were like, oh my god, like rest in peace, blah blah blah. But I don't know, I blame honestly the school for like not being more supportive, and I wish that we would have like had something to get in there and prevent that, you know.
Yeah.
That was a really sad moment too. I remember that as well, and I wanted to like speak on it or like post something, but like I didn't know him to that extent. Like we had a couple conversations like throughout high school and stuff, but we weren't like close. But like I had friends who were close with him, like mutual friends with him, but like I just didn't know him enough to like speak on him because I didn't want to say anything without knowing him, you know.
Yeah, one of my best friends was like one of his only like close friends, and like she still is impacted to it today. Like she still isn't over it things, and it's really hard. It's so hard. And I felt like around that time I had to like gather my friends really close and be like not on like suicide watch, but like to make sure that everybody was gonna make it through the next day, you know.
Yeah, I think that might be a really nice way to end the podcast.
I agree. Yeah. I was just about to say that
was beautiful. Thank you for being so open and vulnerable. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you
very
much.
You're like, always gonna cry like every time. Yeah. You're gonna cry. We did not
cry. Like it was just like, oh.
Next time in Philly, we'll just all sit in a circle and just cry.
Yes. Can we Sarah Paulson cry though? Can it be like a lot?
Yes. Can be. And then we'll video record it and it'll be like your soundtrack next time. The intro is like falling and letting our emotions out.
We develop a soundtrack and it's just only us crying.
With beats underneath.
Make it like lo-fi.
Oh my god.
Lo-fi tears.
Can you edit the way that I sang that, Caleb, and like make it super auto-tuned?
I have no idea how to do that.
I'll do it and I'll send it and you can put it at the end.
Okay. I was gonna ask I'll probably ask Titus too. He probably knows how to do that as well.
Sick.
All right.
I'll send you a little recording of me speaking and we'll make it into a lo-fi beat.
Oh my gosh, yes. That'll be so funny. It's going to be the next intro.
Hell yeah. Love.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. It was fun.
Coming. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.